Hi, right now we're going to talk about other types of roots. So we already know that a square root means what number times itself equals that number. So for example, the square root of 25, well, that means what number times itself equals 25. The square root of 25 is 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. It is also, and, -5 because -5 times -5 also equals a positive 25. So that's square roots, but right now we're going to talk about other kinds of roots. So square root, really, there's an invisible 2 right here, meaning that we're just taking the square, or we want to know what number multiplied by itself. So 2 times, right? Here's our first time, here's the second time. What number multiplied together by itself gives us the answer. Okay, so there's this invisible 2 that you never actually see. But that means we can put other numbers up there. For example, we could put a cube root and say, hey, well, that means what number times itself, so a total of 3 times, gives us the answer that we're looking for. So, for example, if I want the cube root of 27, that means what number times itself equals 27. Some of these you'll know off the top of your head, maybe, if you have a lot of practice. Some of them, these are a lot more difficult. So most calculators are able to do this for you. So I have the TI-34 Multiview, and I'll show you how to do that on this calculator, but you'll have to figure it out on your own calculator, whatever you have. So on this, we have a regular old square root button right here, and that's how you just do your normal square roots. But if you want to do something like a cube root, or what we're going to talk about later, maybe a 4th root or a 5th root or something like that, then what you need to do is you need to click second, and then look here at this. Right above this, it has X with the square root button next to it. So I'm going to push this button. And now, oh, I forgot to type a number in there. Okay, let me start over. You got to type a number first. So let's see. I typed my number 3. I'm trying to show it to you guys as I do it. Typed my number 3. Now I'm going to do second and that button. And now I can show you maybe that it now is 3 or a cube root of something. And then I type a 27 equals, well, in this case, the answer is 3. Now, remember we've talked about how for square roots, right, like we did earlier, like this, it's 5 and -5 because negative times a negative is a positive. So the question is, can that work here also? Does -3 also represent a cube root? Well, let's check. -3 times -3 times -3. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. But then a positive times a negative is a negative. So this answer will be a -27. And that is not what we were looking for. So no, the negative version for cube root does not work. Okay, let's go ahead and try something else. How about, let's see, the cube root of 125. Well, that means, again, what number times itself. So 3 times equals 125. And again, maybe you know that off the top of your head. Or we just, in our calculator, I type 3 to represent this cube, second, and then that arrow button, which gives me this cube root symbol. And then I type 125, and the answer is 5. Okay, now, cube root, though, is not the only type of root that we could do. What about something to the 4th root? That means a number times itself 4 times equals what we're looking for. So how about we try the 4th root of 64? So I'm going to type in my calculator because that I do not know off the top of my head. 4, so I type a 4 first. You can't really see it because of the glare. And then second, that button. So now I have 4th root. I type in a 64, it equals, oh, that gave us a long decimal. Okay. Let's try something that's going to give us a nice decimal. Is that okay with you guys? 4th root of 256. I just checked this one. It'll give us a nice answer. Okay, the 4th root of 256. So again, I type 4, second, then that button to give me the 4th root of 256. That equals 4. Well, that means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 equals 256. Well, when we did the squares, we could also use the negative version. When we did the cubes, we could not use the negative version. Let's check the 4th root. Negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Negative times a negative is a positive, times a negative is a negative. So now we have these three make it a negative. A negative times another negative gives us a positive. So this one does work. So it's and negative 4. So fun fact, whenever your root is even, then the positive version and the negative version work. Whenever your root is odd, like we did back here, then only the positive version works. So that is roots other than just square roots.